Well, hello and welcome to another V's Cards video. My name is Veronica Choich and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to craft a pop-up box card. We'll be using some lovely new products. I can't wait to show you them. Let's get cracking. I have to tell you, I'm using a lot of product in this video, this particular project. You don't have to. You can keep it as minimal as possible and only use the products that you already have. Then again, you can also explore some new products that we have in the new catalogue, and in doing so, you can get a celebration freebie. So first up, I am cutting. I can actually cut 2 of these cards using the 1 A4 paper. And I'm scoring at 2 inch, and the last score vertically will be less than ½ an inch. Just the tab that you're going to hide anyway as you're putting the box together. I'm also scoring at 5 3/4 across, except for one panel. So that is the back panel, and we don't want to score that. We don't want it to flop down. We want it to stand up. Then I'm cutting down on all vertical lines right up until the horizontal line, and I'll snip the thin one. I'm using a new DSP for the background, and I'm also going to use a die or two to cut out some clouds for a bit of interest. I made a mistake in cutting the DSP right up until that score line. I should have went over, say, ½ an inch, and I'll fix that up later on in the video. You'll see that. Because the background is a little under 2 inches, I needed to cut parts of clouds so that it still showed a few clouds all in the one small space. You might notice that I cut the background designer series paper up until that score line. I probably should have taken it a little bit further, say ½ an inch longer. I do correct it by attaching another piece, and I'll show you that a little bit later on in the video. I'm finishing the score lines, and I'm going to add some designer series paper on the top inside as well. I'm adding some pattern paper at the back of the back panel or back of the card, and I'm going to have a white piece of cardstock for writing a sentiment there. For a bit of interest, I'm going to stamp 1st and 2nd generation patterns on the edges of that white cardstock. I'm using a birthday sentiment from a brand new stamp set. I'm also going to adhere designer series paper on the bottom and then top outside panels. I'm going to cut and score 2 small strips of cardstock, and they will act as another layer to the boxed card. They look like long Zs, and you want to make sure that they're folded exactly the same way when you adhere it inside the box. I'm going to seal the box closed first, and then I'm going to add those 2 inserts. I'm going to glue the outside of the flap, and then I'm going to adhere it not quite flush to the height of the open box, so allowing for a few millimetres a little bit deeper. Then I'm going to close the box flat, and I'm going to use my bone folder to secure the wet adhesive. Remember that background DSP I was talking about? I want to fill that up a little bit now. So I'm going to adhere a small strip of designer series paper, same design, and adhere it so that I don't see any green underneath that picture. I'm also going to add a cloud to try and cover that seam a little bit. I'm going to fussy cut a couple of bees, which I will add on the inside of the box card. I'm going to use a hybrid embossing folder which pairs up with a die. I don't really have that much advice for you about this particular product because I don't really have much experience with it. It's the very first time that I'm using it. I did find that I needed to make sure that I had a shim to cut out the die. I would really love to hear your experience using the hybrid embossing folders / dies. Let me know in the comments section if you've used it before. Perhaps you're a newbie like myself. Let me know in the comments. I really needed a black background for that sentiment because I wanted the foil to stand out, especially with the red and white background on the DSP. In the background I sprayed some Wick of Stella onto that black cardstock as well. I'm going to skip some parts of the building of the flowers simply because you've seen me do it all before. With the trio stem I do some snipping and I also use different flowers to add on to them. So that was something different that I did that I haven't shown you before. I encourage you to mix and match your dies. If you've got a number of different floral dies, don't be afraid to experiment. I had a pre-stamped bee lying around, but I noticed I didn't stamp it properly, so I'm using my Stamp and Write marker to fill in the gaps. And that's a cool hint for you in case you stuff it up like I did. Now I'm going to stamp the wings, tone on tone, and punch it out using the coordinating punch. Now you can buy the stamp set and the punch as a bundle, saving 10%. And if you buy another product about $40-ish, or perhaps you might want to spend a little bit more like at one of the dies that I'm using or the hybrid die, you would surely have enough to choose a Stampin' Up! Freebie for our celebration promotion. It's time to build the inside of the card. I'm going to use thin strips of acetate or window sheets, and I'm going to use my mini glue dot to attach things together. So my window sheet strips were cut at approximately 1 centimetre by about 5 centimetres. Please forgive me for not being fully in the camera. I am adding some extra glue dots onto the bee because it's quite heavy in weight given I've added double wings. We're almost at the end of the video. If you like it, please take a moment to like, and if you're not yet a subscriber, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Also, I would love to hear from you. Let me know who you are or where you're from. Share with us your favourite products from the new mini catalogue. I really love the perennial Lavender Sweet. Speaking of purchasing, if you're living in Australia and you're looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please choose me. I would love your business. We're almost done with the card. Do you remember the 2 bees that I fussy cutted earlier? I'm just about to add them to the inside sides. Using liquid adhesive, I'm also going to decorate the envelope using some stamping. This brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Until then, take care and happy crafting.